first came here to the Osteopathic Center because I was a medical mystery. I had been having what seemed like seizures, except they really weren't. Been in and out of Mount Sinai Hospital multiple stays, multiple tests. I was having CAT scans and MRIs, and nothing was showing any abnormalities. There was no common medical explanation for what was happening with me. So I was also having fugue state days where I would completely lose a day. I would have no idea what happened. One of those fugue state days was when I had went to see an allergist to see if they could turn up anything. On that particular day, I also wrecked a car. Don't remember doing that either. So when my partner got home from a business trip, he took me back to the same allergist so that we could ask him what was discussed while I was there. So I walked into the doctor's office and asked him, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "Yes, and you look a lot better today than you did the last time you were here." So I asked him what we discussed, and he told me that he had actually recommended me to come here because there were some different tests that could be run from this location that might turn something up. So made an appointment, came in, and on my very first visit here, I had the seizures again, and it looked like I was actually having a stroke at that time. So I was, everybody sprang into action, called 911, squad came, got me, went back to Mount Sinai again for another 4 days, and again, they couldn't turn anything up. So a week later, I came back in again, and we actually were able to run some tests, get some things done. And in the testing, it turned out that I have heavy metal toxicity, very large levels of aluminum, lead, and uranium. So we immediately started chelation therapy. And within about 3 weeks, I no longer had any of the seizure-like activity. My motor skills improved. My memory improved somewhat. My memory seems to be somewhat damaged at this point. I don't know if that's going to come back or not, but at least I don't lose days anymore. And it was weird, the discovering lost days is really from talking to somebody about, remember when we did this? And I'm like, no. One of my lost days was a day at the mall with a friend going to the movies. She said at one point we were in a shoe store shopping, and I looked at her and said, "I don't feel well," and just walked away and left and went home. I remember nothing about that day. So I truly believe that the allergist that referred me here probably saved my life, because I was on a path to continue to have these fugue state days, driving a car when I had no business driving, because I wasn't even awake and aware enough to be operating a vehicle. And I probably would have just continued on seeing regular doctors who would tell me there's nothing wrong with me, because the lead levels were not high enough to be in the bloodstream, but were high enough to actually be impacting my neurological system. And that's something that, a regular doctor would never locate, never find. So, it's been a tremendous experience coming here, knowing that each visit I come, when I get my IV therapy, that the toxins are being removed, I feel better. And then we actually have talked about my difficulty with my knees. So 2 weeks ago we actually did PRP and stem cell therapy. So we're trying to regrow tendons and ligaments around my knees. So if this is successful, then the next round is going to be my spine, so I can avoid a second round of spinal surgery.
What happened with your spine?
Disc degeneration, spinal stenosis. So I had pretty severe sciatica. I couldn't walk for about 3 months. So I had the surgery in 2008, I think it was, and very successful. But I don't want to have to go do it again, because I'm still having disc desiccation and things are starting to get a little wobbly back there. So once the knees fully heal and I get through all of the physical therapy with that, I'll probably be back to do my spine. Of course, I will be doing it with anesthesia the way I did my knees, because nobody wants to be awake for that. I woke up to intense pain 15 minutes of ice packs, and then I was off and running. So it's been a great experience. So I highly recommend anybody come here for anything because you never know what they're going to find.